shoulder in a big way. Taj Eclipse was the filly that the Gats rode to win. He might have even been an apprentice back then.
I think it was, yes.
Gary?
Yes, it was a great win.
He's looking to the heavens, and there's a man who's wrapped. You think he's won the Melbourne Cup.
That's right.
Great rider, and I'm sure he'll be one of the most popular here. Darren Gauci tributes.
Yeah, great win. Came from the Oaks trial at Geelong.
To beat My Sienna, who cruised up and looked the winner.
Oh, yes.
Hall gave it every chance, but I think the better stayer won, Gary.
It did. I thought My Sienna, just before we straightened up there, she got a bit of a bump, so I saw her go sideways. But I thought Greg Hall, he really thinks he's got it won here. He's having a good old look around here. She's just got in a little bit. Jimmy Cassidy on Suzu, he's come through there in the cerise colours, cerise and white hat. And right on the outside in cerise colours is Darren Gauci. And Greg's gone for the stick. Darren's getting there now. But I think Johnny Letts would have Darren Gauci. He'd be absolutely delighted.
Oh, look, Darren's overjoyed, and Darren, no one more deserving than Darren Gauci, and you've won the Oaks. They're a $500,000 race.
It's a lovely race to win. You know, credit goes to all the stable and the connections with the England family and the Hawke family. We've had a lean carnival, and tell you what, it was very nice to win the Oaks.
But the Darren Gauci magic was there, wasn't it?
Well, I just rode my own race, and I just felt I did everything when I wanted to, and the race panned out nice for me. And I was taken into the race at the right time, and she done the rest. She's a nice filly. She stays very well.
You know, it's ironical, Darren, isn't it? We were talking before the race behind the barrier, and you said you felt relaxed and you felt good.
I did feel relaxed. I felt I was riding all right. There's nothing wrong with my riding. The horses just haven't fired this year, but thank God one of them has.
Well, you've won one of the big ones, mate. Good on you, Darren.
Thanks very much,
Good on you, buddy.
And down here in the mounting, John Hawkes is yet to appear, but Ted Buckingham has just walked over to me now. Ted, close?
Yeah, close, but the winner was too good. Yeah.
Greg looked as though he had a lap full of horse at about the 400.
Yeah, he looked like it, but I think she made enough run the journey. I mean, Tributes won well, so I was just looking for John to congratulate him. It was a wonderful win of his horse.
And it was a nice day for you because you sat there with your daughter and watched the Oaks.
Oh, it was a wonderful day. I mean, I'm thrilled with the filly. She ran second. I mean, she's done more than possibly anyone could dream of, and I'm not disappointed. She's a wonderful filly, and on the day, the best horse won.
Well done.
Thank you.
Ted Buckingham, who trains the runner-up, and the Ingham brothers and John Hawkes have combined yet again, and here is the winning trainer, John Hawkes, joining us now. Congratulations, mate.
Thanks, Pete.
Terrific staying performance.
Yeah, she's always been, not one pace, but not a real sprinting filly, but there's plenty of speed in the race, so it helped a lot, but he rode it well, and it was a good effort.
She's still got a bit to learn about racing too.
Yeah, she's only a young filly, hasn't been over race, so we've always had the Oaks in mind, so it was good to all to work together.
Occasionally you have a word or two to say about jockeys, and a few people have had a word or two to say about Darren Gauci over the last few weeks.
No, they're only talking through their arse, mate. They wouldn't know what they're talking about, so when they're riding winners, they want to pat them on the back. When they're not, they want to pot them, so you can't win on slow horses, mate.
Nicely summed up. Enjoy the moment.
Thanks, Peter.
John Hawkes, the winning trainer, and Darren Gauci, as Gary Willits mentioned, won this race way back in 1983 aboard Taj Eclipse for Bart Cummings, and now he comes back to scale in 1999, the last one of the 1900s, aboard this filly Tributes, defeating My Sienna, and in third placing was number 3 Shazoo. The Golden Dane had a beautiful run throughout. Dan Glisser did get up on the steel, and probably when challenged at about the halfway point of the race was inclined to over-race a little bit again, but all honest with the winner. It was a true test of staying, and Darren Gauci returns to scale now, having won for the Woodland stud Jack and Bob Ingham, who invests so much money into horse racing in this country, and trainer John Hawkes, who summed it up pretty well, I thought. Here's the replay, and you can see Tributes right on the far left of the screen, just there on the outside of My Sienna. Inside her is Bart Cummings' runner, and that is Beat the Fade. You can see Dan Glisser getting off the rail too and dragging Shazoo out with her. And as they get inside the 200, Greg Hall was pretty confident. He was having a look around over his left shoulder, and then he looked over his right shoulder, and he saw the famous all cerise colours coming up on the outside. The little filly Shazoo in the white sleeves, battling her heart away, and it was tight at the end. Tributes just getting the stride in near the line, and she gets up to win. To ruin what would have been a fairy tale for the Buckingham family, there was a little bit of contact near the line, as you can see. That is probably some 20 or 25 metres away from the line, maybe a little bit further from that. But as you heard from Ted Buckingham, well, he's just delighted to be here today with his daughter. And there is Darren Gauci, Oaks winners 16 years apart, Taj Eclipse and this horse today, Tributes. Again, we look at them in super slow motion. It was a confident Greg Hall. As Gary Willits pointed out, she was actually turned side on as they came around the turn, but Tributes has run over her, and we'll be back for the presentation in a moment.
Welcome back to the Oaks. It was a good go there for a while. My Sienna looked like the winner. Tributes loomed up on the outside. It was just too good in the end. There's Greg Hall on the scales. We're after correct weight 4. The Oaks of 99 from Mr. Gleeson.
Correct weight.
There's the big wave. Once one way, once the other. And Peter Donegan, I guess My Sienna just couldn't get the trip. That was a good win by Tributes.
It was a wonderful win by Tributes, but a terrific performance by the second filly, and this young lady beside me is still pretty excited, aren't you?
Of course I am. It's just marvellous. I mean, she didn't get beaten by far. Just the best filly won on the day, and Tributes all the best for her. I mean, she won very well.
What were your feelings on the home turn, Beth?
I couldn't have been happier. Greg had her in the perfect posse. She was travelling, and we started screaming when she hit the front, but I saw Tributes coming.
Maybe you weren't yelling loud enough.
Well, if that was it, if yelling did it, she would have won.
Obviously, your only regret is that you weren't on it.
Oh, that's right. I mean, these things happen. I'm still alive and I'm here. I'm just thrilled to be here. It's fantastic.
We're thrilled to have you here.
Thank you.
Beverly Buckingham King. Dan, take us through the Super Tab dividends on the Oaks.
In the fastest run Oaks in history since they've had it over the 2,500 metres. So it was a genuine race, and that's why the stayers fought it out this time. Tribute $7.10 and $2.20. My Sienna 140, Shazoo 330, Trifecta 241.80, Quinella 870, Exacta 1820, Race to Race Double paid $26.70. Fourth, number 5, and that was the Golden Dane, and fifth in the South Australian Finney Smites' Rivalry. So that's correct weight there on the Oaks. Tim Gossage to the betting ring.
Great result for bookmakers there, Dan. Fantastic result. Dan Glisser and My Sienna, clearly the only two that punters wanted. One of the best betting races of the carnival so far. So bookies are smiling with the result of Tributes. In the next, 3 favourites have opened up just a shade under each way odds. Another Marauder, the Decorator, and Mr. Millennium.
Thank you, Timothy Gossage. We're going to give you all of the placings in just a moment on the Oaks. There they are, in fact. Tributes, My Sienna, Shazoo. Golden Dane was up there. In fact, my producer and I are shaking our heads. We only needed one more other than Tributes, but that's racing. Smites' Rivalry there. Normandy, which was mentioned in dispatches, couldn't get there either. So there's the official placings. And maybe you've got a sweep with the last place getter in it. So there they all are in the Oaks of 1999. All right, big crowd here, very big crowd. The weather has been fantastic for these 3 days. Expecting a little bit of rain later this afternoon. Let's hope that's about 2 hours away. Presentation's ready. Here's MC Rob Gaylor.
Thank you very much, Tim. Ladies and gentlemen, sashing the winner is the General Manager of Communications and Marketing of Crown Casino, Miss Anne Peacock. But while Anne is doing that, may I have the pleasure of introducing to you the VRC Chairman to begin our presentations, Mr. Andrew Ramsden.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today is Ladies' Day at Flemington, and what a superb day. Weather, beautiful ladies, and spectacular fashions. There is no doubt that the ladies here today are largely responsible for the growing popularity of this carnival. 135 years ago, the first secretary of the club, Mr. Robert Baddock, said, "Get the ladies out here and the men will follow." What a visionary. It is fitting, of course, that this day is highlighted by a classic race for fillies. And can I offer a tribute to Tributes? And this year we are proud to have Crown as its sponsor for the 5th time. Representing Crown is the Executive General Manager Events and Sports Marketing, Mr. Jamie Bartels. Thank you, Jamie, and Crown's Lloyd Williams for their continued support. I now have pleasure in introducing Mr. Jamie Bartels.
Thank you, Chairman. On behalf of Crown and our Chairman Lloyd Williams, I'd like to welcome everybody today to Flemington. Once again, I think we've represented another week where racing has been the winner. This week alone, crowds and attendances have continued to have been broken. And by looking at the crowd today, I think once again we've managed to probably create another new record at Flemington to witness the running of the 1999 Crown Oaks. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we've seen a terrific race and we've seen a fantastic horse in Tributes, represented today and by the owning syndicate of the Woodland Stud Syndicate, represented today by Jack and Sue Ingham. The horse today was trained to perfection by John Hawkes and ridden to the minute by Darren Gauci, wearing the pink colours, which must have had a little bit of influence on what's now become the traditional Ladies' Day. Ladies and gentlemen, I look forward to seeing you all back at Crown tonight to help the Inghams celebrate, and I'd now like you to join me in congratulating Mr. Jack Ingham to accept the trophy. Thank you, Jack. Well done. Congratulations.
Chairman of the VRC, his committee, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Well, what a day. I've got to say that the carnival now that the VRC run is one of the best carnivals in the world. I've been to all of them, and it's just unbelievable, the Melbourne people, how they respond to this wonderful carnival. And I'm full of congratulations for the job they do. I'm particularly happy to win this race. Lloyd Williams is a good friend of mine, and I'm very proud to win this Oaks today, the Crown Oaks. Crown is a very good sponsor of racing, and it's wonderful for me being a friend of his, to be able to win. I'd like to thank my trainer, John Hawkes, and his staff, who do a marvellous job for us all over Australia. They put all the effort in, and Bob and I have been so pleased with the results that they get for us. I was very pleased to see Darren ride the winner. He's had a pretty awful carnival, and it's just great to see him ride this winner today. It'll give him more confidence, and which I'm very pleased to see. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm absolutely thrilled to win, and thank you very much.
I'd now like to present the trophy to the winning trainer, Mr. John Hawkes. Please congratulate him.
Mr. Bartel, Mr. Ramsden, members of the VRC committee, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I'd just like to thank Jack and Bob for giving me the opportunity to train their horses throughout Australia. They love their racing, and they employ a lot of people, and they just love to win, whether it be Group 1 or any race. There's always a lot of people to thank when you win these type of races, or any race for that particular. And in particular, I'd like to thank my son Wayne here in Melbourne, and Peter Snowden back in Sydney, and there's a lot of people behind the scenes that I perhaps can't mention on the day, but they put an awful lot of hard work into it to make me look good on the day. I'd also like to thank Darren Gauci. He rode the horse particularly well. He's been down on comments a little bit in the last few weeks, and he's had his knockers, but I think he silenced them today. I'd also like to thank Crown for sponsoring the race. They put a lot of money into sponsorship, which is always great, and we do need it. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please congratulate the jockey of the 1999 Crown Oaks, Mr. Darren Gauci.
Thanks, Ronald. Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, ladies and gentlemen. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Crown, the sponsors of this race. It's a very nice race to win. I also like to thank my owners, the Inghams family. They've been very good to me. We've had a lean carnival, and we're running out of ammunition, and thank God Tributes won this race today. I also like to thank my trainer, John Hawkes, and also Wayne Hawkes, and all the staff here in Melbourne and throughout Australia. It's a team effort. We've all worked extra hard this year, and thank God we won this race once again. I also like to thank my family and all my friends who have helped me through the carnival to help keep my chin up. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Terrific effort. And John Hawkes had a bit to say to me after the race, and he has had his knockers over the past couple of months or so, but he's a great rider, and it's great to see him back there on the Group 1 dais again.
Nice to bounce back, that's for sure, and it's a great race to pick up.
Tribute's the winner of the Crown VRC Oaks, so we've still got 3 to go.
Yes.
And we need you to find us the winner of the 7th, please. And there is an important riding change here.
Yes.
Korchnoi is to be ridden by Jim Cassidy, number 16.
And he is my selection, Korchnoi. Yes, he's only had the 4 starts, Peter, but a terrific run there at Werribee where he just missed. He's a promising horse, and I think he's going to be suited over the 1800 metres here today. Number 6, Mr. Millennium, I've put him for second. Showed fairly nice improvement at Geelong at his last start. Number 1, another Marauder for third.
Well, I've gone for the Decorator on the strength of that very good last start performance at Werribee. Probably a drop in class here, but I've gone for the same horse as Gary Willits, and he's tipping terribly. I mean, he's tipped a loser now. He's only tipped 5 out of 6. So
totally out of form.
Yeah, that's shaken the confidence a little bit.
No, he's done so well, hasn't he?
Yep, the Decorator for myself and Gary coming up in race 7, the Chadstone Fashion Plate. That's time to commence at 3:25. And Tim, if my mathematics are correct, that's about 17 minutes away.
Yeah, it was when I went to school. Thanks very much, Peter. It is nice for Darren Gauci when you cop a bit of stick to get a winner up, and that might just shut them up for a little while. More racing to come, more fashions to come. You're watching VRC Crown Oaks Day 99.
They're racing in the Oaks.
We will raise our hands, we will touch the sky. Together we will stand amongst the stars. And we will lead the world, remembering.
50 out, and Tributes is going to win it. Tributes first, 3.
Yes, any jockey's happy when they win a Group 1, and particularly a race like the Oaks, but I get a feeling the Gouch was pretty impressed with himself after that win there. Well, we send our reporters out and about every day of the Melbourne Cup Carnival. It's tough out there today. There's a lot of people. Lenny Talbot is out there somewhere.
Hot on the heels of last year's all-time record crowd for the 4-day Cup Carnival, the VRC decided they needed to open up a new area for the public to come and party and enjoy race day. Now that's where I am right now. It's called the infield enclosure because it's on the inside of the track. And as we've discovered, there's a great view from here of the racecourse and no shortage of atmosphere. The VRC has packaged a great deal that includes admittance to the infield enclosure, a free race book, complimentary food and a jazz band to entertain, not to mention a shuttle bus to and from the city, all for just $55. There are marquees, stands and a giant video screen, as well as betting facilities. All the ingredients for a great day at the races. Well, it is a lot of fun over here, and in fact 5,000 people have taken to the infield every day during the Melbourne Cup Carnival so far. Oh, and watch out, look who comes. Hello, Patsy.
Hello, darling. Hiya, sweetie.
How's things?
Oh, you're looking absolutely gorgeous. I'm most bloody upset now. Look at you,
Oh, she's putting a cigarette on me.
Gorgeous.
It's already proven so popular, the VRC expects tens of thousands of people will want to pre-book their tickets to Flemington's new hotspot in the lead-up to next year's carnival. By then, with the new infield enclosure and the $4.1 million grandstand complete, Flemington's capacity crowd for the 4-day Melbourne Cup Carnival will break all records.
Thanks very much, Lynn. We told you it's positively dangerous out there at this time of the afternoon. Now, Maggie race of the century, trip for 2 to the Kentucky Derby in the USA. Today, we've got 2,400 metres of our Phantom race call. Let's go with Peter Donegan.
All set for the Maggie Melbourne Cup of the Century, and they're off. And a huge roar erupts around Flemington as Windbag on the inside jumped away smartly with Even Stevens and Rain Lover. In the middle, Farlap began pretty well with Vintage Crop and Comic Court. Wider out, Night Watch was slow from the outside. Let's Elope hooking across the back of the field. Might and Power didn't begin all that well. He's well back when they settle, and Rising Fast has taken a while to find his feet as they link up with the course proper the first time. And Johnny Letts has taken Belldale Ball to the lead, just in front of Skipton and Windbag as they come down to the 400 in the first circuit. Galilee's in a nice spot from Vintage Crop, and then Rain Lover and Peter Pan. Comic Court has settled in about 8th placing from Night March and Revenue, then Poseidon. Farlap back in the centre of the field from Wotan, and then at Tallack. Might and Powell well back from Baystone. Even Stevens. Rimfire's giving them a tidy start down the straight the first time. Then Rising Fast, Let's Elope, Revette, Night Watch, Think Big, and Empire Roses last of all as they come to the judge with a lap to go. Turning out of the straight now, heading towards the 2200. Belldale Ball the leader. Comic Court in second placing from Galilee and Windbag. Rain Lovers enjoyed a beautiful run in the early stages, and they were followed by Vintage Crop and then Skipton. Peter Pan well back from Night March, Revenue, Poseidon. Farlap starting a run around the outside, and there's one lost the rider. Night Watch has lost the rider back in the field, and going around them quickly. Farlap improving his spot as they head towards the 1600 metre mark now. Belldale Ball led Windbag and Galilee. Comic Court in third placing. Farlap's gone up to 5th. Then came Vintage Crop, Rain Lover, Skipton. Further back was Peter Pan from Even Stevens. Night March on the outside of Revenue. Then Poseidon, Revette, Might and Power still well back from Wotan. Baystone's a long way back. Rising Fast only with a few behind him. They include Rimfire, Empire Rose, at Tallack, Let's Elope, and Think Big last of all as they go past the halfway mark. They're in the Melbourne Cup at the far side of the course now, and Belldale Ball and Windbag together. Johnny Letts and Windbag, that's appropriate. Galilee in third placing. Farlap is 4th. He's had a lovely run. Vintage Crop next from Peter Pan. The field fairly strung out at this stage. Then Rain Lover, Comic Court, Skipton. Might and Power's improving his spot around the outside, being tacked up by Rising Fast. Then Poseidon, Revette, Even Stevens. Baystone well back from Wotan, Revenue, Night March, Empire Rose. Then came further back Let's Elope from at Tallack, Rimfire. Think Big has dropped out last, and of course Night Watch lost the rider over there as they come to the 800 metre mark in the Melbourne Cup.
There you go, 2,400 metres, and Pete just couldn't resist, could he, having a little crack at Lettsy? Fantastic. Now, it's very easy. There's the phone number, 1902 555 616. Grab yourself a Magic product at the supermarket. Now, the entry form will tell you everything that you need to know about entering the competition. Now, the smart ones would have entered now after the 2,400 metres. Now, we'll close it off on Friday, and we'll announce the winner and show you the entire race with Peter's call on Saturday, Emirates Stakes Day. All right? Couldn't help yourself, could you, Donegan? You had to have a crack at the little bloke when he's not there to defend himself.
Quite right, and I shouldn't really, because he was speechless before the running of the Oaks, first time ever.
In history.
Yeah, it's a bit
We
of
even
fun.
got that on tape.
Yeah, it's a bit of fun, that Maggi Phantom Call, and of course you'll be able to find out the winner on Saturday, and I'm not telling you what it is.
All right, I don't even know. He hasn't told me, so I can't help anyone.
Don't look after my mates at all. Chadstone Fashion Plate, race 7 at 325. Another Marauder heads the weights here with 59 kilos, but to compensate for that, a bloke called B. Preble is sitting on its back.
Yes, just riding fantastically at the moment too, Brett. Every possible chance there at Geelong, another Marauder, but did get the money, and of course that form looks pretty good now with Sirinel coming out on Tuesday and running such a good race. Back on the dry track, a good chance.
I thought the Decorators form read pretty well, trained by the master Jim Houlihan, who won the Fred Hoisted Award this year for the training performance of the year. Mark Flaherty, the rider, got a lovely gate in 1, and the effort at Werribee was pretty good, Jim.
It was good, and that was in the Werribee Cup, and that was in a pretty good field as well. He can carry weight, so the 57 shouldn't worry him, and here's a good chance.
Number 6 is Mr. Millennium. That's a word that we're trying to avoid because we don't know whether this is the last carnival of the millennium or not. It depends who you listen to. Damien Oliver, the rider for Lee Friedman, gate 10.
He showed really good improvement at his last start at Geelong, and Depeche Mode did win that race there. He came out and made the form look good as well, so on form you'd have to put him in as a good chance.
8 Baron Shelley, Greg Childs, the rider for Clary Connors, finished 5th at Geelong at its last start.
That was also behind Depeche Mode and got a long way back on that occasion and ran on well. I thought it was a good effort there, and not the roughest here, a trifecta chance.
Michael Barlow's got the Centreboard 9 Educate for Chris Parry at Cranbourne.
Box seated at its last start at Werribee when he did get up to score there. Matt Starr, he ran at Kyneton yesterday, but he was well beaten, so if you go on form, I wouldn't be all that keen on his chances.
10 Lady Solville, Jason Patton, the rider for Peter Hayes here at Flemington, but it's drawn an awkward gate in 17. Even from from the 1800 where they've got to run to the first turn.
Interesting runner here. She sat outside the lead at Geelong and pulled really hard. But if you go back to May, she did run second behind Sea Squill, and she can definitely improve. So just a little watch on her.
13 Trebeel. The rider is Stephen Arnold. Kenny Mann, the trainer at Flemington, and maybe a bit of consolation for Kenny because he's had some rotten luck with Northern Drake, which was unable to start in both the Cox Plate and the Louis Vuitton McKinnon Stakes.
Yes, I thought Trebeel probably had every chance at Werribee though, Peter, and I don't think this is any easier. So I'm not all that keen on his chances.
Important riding change too, as we mentioned, Jen. Jimmy Cassidy is now the rider for number 16, Korchnoi, trained by Bart Cummings and has a fair set of colours on.
Sure does, and I think this is a very promising horse. He's only had the 4 starts. His form is pretty good. He looks like a nice stayer in the making, and of course he's in the hands of Bart Cummings, so you can't do too much better than that.
And they are the saintly colours, of course, of Dato Tan Chin Nam. What's your trifecta?
16, Korchnoi, from number 6, Mr. Millennium, and number 1, another Marauder.
I like the Decorator. Dan, what's it showing on the tape?
Decorator's about equal second pick at the moment at around $5.40. $4.80 another Marauder number 1. $5.50 number 6 Mr. Millennium. $11 for Baroncelli and also for number 9 Educate. And then pretty big odds for most of the other runners. Lady Solville's at $43. Collins Street 22. And Trebeel given a chance with Korchnoi at $14.12 respectively. That's the look on the tote. Now in the ring with Tim.
Thank you very much, Dan. Well, they're struggling to find a favourite here, the punters. Another Marauder and the Decorator, about each way odds the two. Bit of money for Mr. Millennium in the last couple of minutes. And there is one down the bottom, number 18, Collins Street, being kept very safe. Now, a man that's been a part of the telecast for the last 5 years has been rails bookmaker Michael Iskandar. I can tell you this is his last day fielding at Flemington. He's going full-time into sports betting. Michael, a sad occasion. Are you glad to get out?
Well, I'm trying to get out, as you're right, but it is a sad occasion for me, yes. It is my last day on the rails, unfortunately, yeah.
Mate, what about, sports betting and bookmaking at the races? You can't do both.
Well, the authorities here in Victoria don't want us to do both, which is an absolute disappointment. They're doing it in Sydney, doing it in Darwin, but Victorian authorities, what can you say? I better not say too much or I'll lose the other one as well.
Is there more money in sports betting?
Oh, there is more turnover without a shadow of doubt, yes. But I would very much like to keep this one. But once again, Victoria, they've got their own rules, and that's probably why we're not moving ahead.
Does Mr. Packer like sports betting, do you know? Because he likes you at the race day.
I don't know Mr. Packer, but I'll send him an invitation. No, he's never had a bet in there, but the turnover, and it certainly is the growth industry without a shadow of doubt.
Michael, you've been great for us over the last 5 years, in particular with me on the telecast. Thanks for your time again, and good luck.
Thank you so much, and it's nice to do business with you guys.
Yeah, no wonder, because you win every time.
And best of luck for Channel 10.
Michael Iskandar, one of the best blokes in the business. Not bad for a bookie. What do you reckon, Pete?
Yeah, normally we don't like them. Well, we like getting the money off them, but Michael Iskandar is a terrific bloke. There's the map for race 7, the Chadstone Fashion Plate over 1,800 metres. A run of about 400 to the first turn. Selections there. Jennifer's the only one who's come up with Korchnoi. Mr. Millennium from Richard Friedman. Another Marauder from Letzi and Daniel. The Decorator from Gary Willits and myself, who've agreed a few times today. I haven't agreed with him enough, though, because he's 5 out of 6 at the moment.
Hey, the Farrett.
Yep. And he's done very well. And here's Higgs, who was just having a word to your good friend Bev Buckingham.
Oh, yes. And isn't it great to see her here? And it was so unfortunate the horse, My Sienna, was so narrowly beaten in the Oaks. And it would have been a great thing, but they've had so much fun with her, it doesn't make any difference.
Yeah.
And it's great to see Bev getting out like that. She's been inclined to want to hide away from it all, but great to see her out in the open. Fantastic stuff. Okay, I based my thoughts around the top 2 here. I went with the Decorator. I thought his run the Werribee Cup was excellent. He looks to have trained right to his peak here. And another Marauder, the top weight. He's a big, powerful individual, loves a dry track. These 2 horses have drawn barriers 1 and 2. I think they'll give you a great sight. Certainly the Bart Cummings train, number 16, Korchnoi. It's like Jogan Ross, isn't it?
Jogan Ross, yes. Should have copped the tip.
Yes.